Good morning and welcome to Newsfirst Prime Time Sunrise.
Hello there, a very good morning and welcome to Newsfirst Prime Time Sunrise with me, Shane Silva. We are coming to you live from the Bandaranaike International Airport.
I'm Nicola D'Souza. In January, we brought the news to you live from Colombo Port. In February, we took you to all the way up to Adams Peak. And today, we bring you to yet another economic hub of Sri Lanka, the Bandaranaike International Airport.
That's right, let's now take a look at your headlines for this morning.
The CEB says that electricity will continuously be provided despite of low water levels. 87% of polling cards for the upcoming elections distributed, says the Department of Postal Services. President Obama announces further sanctions against prominent Russians in response to Moscow's seizure of the Crimea region from Ukraine.
Our first local story for today, the Postal Department says that 87% of the official poll card of the Western and Southern Provincial Council elections have been distributed.
Postmaster General Rowan said that if the official poll card is not received before the 22nd of this month, it can be collected from the post office upon confirming the identity. Meanwhile, the Postal Department says that the non-receipt of candidate lists have been reported in several areas in the Western Province. Postmaster General Rowan said that Sunday the 23rd of this month has been allocated for the distribution of the candidate list.
Now in the recent past, we have seen a shift in the current weather patterns with thunder showers being experienced in the evening. We have online with us this morning the Director General of the Met Department, Lalit Chandrapala, to elaborate further on this shift in the weather. Good morning, Mr. Chandrapala. We seem to be experiencing a bit of a technical difficulty at the moment. But moving on to the next story rather, we made inquiries from the CEB as to what the issues they are facing. Let's take a look at that story.
What is the situation of the reservoirs in catchment areas due to the prevalent weather conditions?
Well, the maximum demand reported on 19th March, that is Wednesday, was 2000 megawatts, and the hydro generation was at 14% of that, and the thermal generation was at 86%. Rains were not reported during the last several days. Therefore, the water situation is still at a lower level. As reported yesterday, Kasalri was at 8%, Mausakele at 19%, Kotmale was at 32%, Victoria was at 25%, Randanikala 61%, Samanlavaeva 31%. Due to the shortage of water in the reservoirs, the hydropower generation is at a minimum level. Most of the power was generated using the expensive thermal fuels. Therefore, the CEB requests the consumers to spare with the usage of electricity during the peak hours, that is 6 to 9 in the evening.
What are the contributions obtained from the Norachole and other power plants?
The thermal generation capacity of the system is in a very good situation. Norachole, both plants are working. Sabgaskanda power station is working. Kalnithissa power station is also working. The private power plants that provide power to the CEB, Kerawala power plant and the AES at Kalnithissa premises is also working.
Due to these prevailing conditions, will the generation of electricity be hampered in the future?
The supply generation situation is in a very good situation these days. Therefore, there is no fear of power cuts being imposed.
Now, as mentioned to you a few minutes ago, there has been a shift in the current weather patterns with thunder showers being experienced in the evenings. Now, we have online the Director General of the Met Department, Lalit Chandrapala, to speak to us about this shift in the weather patterns. Good morning, Mr. Chandrapala. start of the bulletin, we are coming to you live from the Bandaranaike International Airport, where it is a hustle and bustle since the wee hours of this morning, since we got here actually. And to elaborate further, I believe...
Yes, Shane, let's take a quick look at the brief history of the Bandaranaike International Airport.
The airport began as a Royal Air Force airfield in 1944 during the Second World War. In 1957, it closed as the British left the island and SWRD Bandaranaike removed all the British military airfields from Sri Lanka. The airfield was handed over to the Royal Ceylon Air Force and was named Katunaika. It was in 1964 that construction activities of the airport commenced under the auspices of the then Communications Minister Anil Munasinghe, with the objective of transferring the international airport in Watmalana to Katunaika. Following the conclusion of construction activities in 1967, Sri Lanka's national airline service Air Ceylon took its flight. In 1970, the airport was named the Bandaranaike International Airport as a mode of respect to former Prime Minister SWRD Bandaranaike. On the 7th of November, a year later, a Boeing 747 landed on the runway of the BIA in Katunaika for the first time. The airport was renamed Katunaika International Airport in 1977, but it was changed back to Bandaranaike International Airport in 1995. Today, there are a number of direct and transit flights traveling to many countries. The airport is undergoing resurfacing of its runway. Future projects include a second runway to support the Airbus A380, and the runway is expected to extend 400 meters.
Newsfirst, and moving on to more local news, the country's first prison school will be declared open in Bataraka Homagama today.
Prisons Commissioner General Chandraratha Palnegama said that inmates who have not sat for the GCE ordinary level and advanced level examinations will be allocated to these schools. The main objective of these schools will be to provide proper education for those aged between 18 and 30. He further said that learning facilities have been provided for the inmates in 4 classrooms. The school has been named Sunitha.
Periodically during this bulletin, we have been experiencing a shift in the weather patterns recently in the country. We've been experiencing thunder showers in the evening, and there has also been the possibility of lightning also occurring with these thunder showers. Now we have online with us the Director General of the Met Department, Lalit Chandrapala, to speak to us about the shift in weather patterns. Good morning, Mr. Chandrapala.
Good morning. Well, since the beginning of this week, most parts of Sri Lanka has been experiencing rain, particularly in the afternoon and evening. The significance of the rainfalls during this week were concentrated mostly in the southern half of the country, with Hambantota reporting a rainfall of about 72 millimeters. This is pre-intermonsoonal rain, and we are expecting this rain spell to continue even today, and that is, we are expecting thunder showers in the afternoon and early evening, even today. But from tomorrow onwards, for about 2 weeks, for about 4 days, we are expecting a slight reduction in rainfall, and afterwards, by the middle of next week, once again the rains will start. And since this is intermonsoonal and the rainfall is mostly convective in nature, we are advising the people to take adequate precautions from lightning strikes during the rain periods. Thank you.
On your international news, on to the terminal of the Bandaranaike International Airport, the place from where we are coming to you live and direct on this edition of Newsfirst Primetime Sunrise. And with that, we wrap up this edition of the News Bulletin for today. Thank you so much for being with us. Have a good weekend.
Hotline 0114 896 896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.